Hey there, it's Sam with Tennis Express. Today we're taking a look at the Wilson Blade Pro 16 by 19 and 18 by 20. This is a version 9 cosmetic, as you can see from that emerald green. I've always kind of been afraid of playtesting these rackets because I know that stock, the swing weights are very high. We experimented with these two rackets though, and we tail weighted one of them, and I was really pleasantly surprised with how the rackets performed on court. Again, these are different from the inline blade models, a little bit more rounded cross-section, slightly thicker beam, a little bit firmer flex as well, and again, that higher stock swing weight, but I was very impressed with the stability during the play test. It's a completely different racket than the inline V9 blades. Alex, what were your initial thoughts here on the Blade Pros?
Yeah, so first thing I want to say is I said it about the other blades with the matte finish. I think this one is an amazing looking racket. I think the shine just adds to it. But getting on to how it actually plays itself, I actually like that the beams are a little bit thicker and they have a little bit stiffer rating to them. I think it makes the racket play a lot more solid, a lot more heft and oomph to the racket. And volleying with this racket feels so good. It is just a solid, sturdy racket in the net. I think with the 16 by 19, that was probably my more favorite one. I think the spin was a little bit better. My favorite shot for both of them was probably my serve because it just felt really easy to serve. I think with the heavier head on both of the rackets that it kind of just brought the racket around a little bit faster, you get a little more snap and pop on the serves. So that's what I think.
For sure. I think I have play tested this racket a little bit before today, and it was on the doubles court. And I think one area where it really shined for me was return of serve. And so with that higher swing weight, it's kind of designed almost for that shorter backswing, a little bit more compact. There's enough mass in the head of the racket that if you, even with a short backswing, you can really put a charge into the ball, fight off a heavy serve or a flat first serve. The other area for me that I just loved, and it reminded me of really rackets from the early to mid 90s, is just the stability at the net. Passing shots, like it just seems like it has a really firm, crisp feel. It inspires a lot of confidence. The net is not my favorite place to be, but I think the way that this racket is balanced and the extra mass in the head, it sort of makes me simplify up at the net, and I really enjoyed playing all court tennis with the Blade Pro. I know you mentioned your favorite 16 by 19.
Yeah.
I think I would say 16 by 19, I thought maybe it was a little too open pattern. For me, I hit the ball a little bit flatter, so I preferred the precision, maybe a little bit more depth from that 18 by 20.
So the reason I think I like this 16 by 19 a little bit more is because with most rackets of the 98 flexible thin beams, you kind of find yourself losing power. But with the Pro, has the thicker beams, a little bit stiffer, I think that it gives a really good amount of power, and the spin on the 16 by 19 is very, very noticeable, so it let me play my game the way I want to.
And I think I preferred the 18 by 20 version of the Blade Pro. I hit the ball a little bit flatter. I do feel like I was still able to create quite a bit of spin. For whatever reason, this 18 by 20 pattern seems to have a lot of grip. Some other 18 by 20s are pretty closed off. You feel like you can't get the rotation you're looking for. I did not have that issue here, and so I prefer the directional control of that 18 by 20. Spec check on our Wilson Blade Pro 16 by 19. It's got that 16 by 19 string pattern, 98 square inch head, 10.8 ounce unstrung weight. Big key here is strung swing weight is around 340, so it's a little bit more cumbersome than the standard inline blades. As far as the Blade Pro 18 by 20, 10.8 ounce unstrung weight, 18 by 20 string pattern, slightly headlight balance, and again, a monster swing weight around 340.
These two rackets both be a really good option if you find yourself losing stability or not getting good contact, because they do have such mass in the head that you don't have to have a big full swing to really get the ball back how you want it.
For sure. I think a lot of questions that we're going to get asked about this video is, hey, I like the Blade V9 18 by 20, or I like the Blade V9 16 by 19. Should I try a Blade Pro? How do I know which one's better? And the thing I would say is the Blade V9 models are easier to use. More players are going to experience success with that racket. The balance is a little bit more user-friendly. The Blade Pro, again, a little bit more of a niche if you're somebody that wants to tinker with the racket, with a little lead tape, or you want to maybe throw a leather grip on there. The Blade Pros can be a fun racket to experiment with. But by and large, the majority of players are still going to favor the ease of use of those Blade 98 V9s.
Yeah, definitely. I think that when you're looking at this racket and you see Blade Pro, don't just think a heavier blade. It is going to be a pretty different racket, so definitely try before you buy.
That about wraps it up for our Blade Pro racket review. Thanks for checking out. Don't forget to like below and make sure you subscribe so you see when we post new content.